we're so happy and honored to have someone who has been instrumental in the advocacy movement in her state of Nebraska. Her name is Crista Eggers. It's Eggers, right? It's a hard
It's
G.
Eggers. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. That's correct.
wanted to make sure I could get the Krista part very easily. So appreciate you taking the time. It seems whenever I have a story about Nebraska, you're quoted. So I knew that this was a good person to talk to. And this week, they're starting very slowly to distribute and award licenses, but even that has been a little painful. Can you give me a little background on what's happened over the last week in Nebraska?
Yeah. So in Nebraska, after voters passed medical cannabis ballot initiatives, those ballot initiatives put together the Medical Cannabis Commission. This commission consists of the current liquor control commissioners that serve on medical cannabis, and then the governor appointed two additional individuals to this commission. The commission is tasked and has the authority to regulate the dispensing, the growing, cultivation, manufacturing of cannabis for medical patients. So what they were up against a deadline of October 1st, on or before they were to start distributing licenses. What we saw them do this last week is they did move forward. The cultivator license application process was open. There were 39 applicants. They went ahead and they drew four in a lottery. Two of those individuals were awarded licenses and have accepted those licenses. At this point, we don't know if they're going to move forward with manufacturing. That's what they have said they're going to do. But the commission themselves is unfortunately very, very dysfunctional. We are seeing a huge amount of opposition from political forces really strong arming this commission. And what is happening is not at all reflective of what voters passed. This commission is not listening. There was a public comment yesterday that happened in Lincoln regarding the rules and regulations they have set forth. And it's very clear that the rules and regulations they have proposed that will become law on December 7th, approximately, they violate the statute. They are in complete violation of the law. Voters, patients, the state, 71% of people spoke very, very clearly that they want medical cannabis. They want a comprehensive program. They do not want restrictions on the type of cannabis or the form of cannabis that it's available to them. And this commission, one time after another, has truly just stripped away the voter intent in this. So we're working very hard to really oppose what this commission is doing. Your guess is as good as mine whether they're going to move forward and make any changes, which the public comment was very strong that they need to make changes. I don't know if they do. I sure hope they do, because we are just really walking ourselves into a program that is very segmented, a supply chain issue just from day one. There is not any experience on this commission. It is full of cannabis prohibitionists. So we're up against a lot, but just continuing to make sure that these people are held accountable. The voters put them in this position, and they answer to voters in what they're doing. And again, we're seeing them not do that right now.
And welcome to the world of legal cannabis in America, because the government, whether it be the feds, the states, or the towns, are doing everything they possibly can to make it as difficult as possible to survive, let alone launch in a state like Nebraska. And on top of that, your leaders, your governor and your attorney general specifically, has tried very hard to go against what the people wanted. And that bothers me as an American more than anything else, because the ballot box has always belonged to the people. And this issue brings people out more than any other issue, because everybody has an opinion about cannabis and how it should be used, regulated, and unfortunately, it falls on deaf ears with a lot of the other elected officials. However, you guys still have the vote in your hands, and you could take notes of everybody who's fighting you and work to get them removed, because that's the only thing that can ever happen on this.
100%. We've got to pivot to elections. And, in the state of Nebraska, this issue has been going on for over a decade where advocates, led the fight, went to the legislature year after year. We walked away empty handed, no change in leadership. And that's why we pursued the ballot. It took us 3 times. We were the first year overwhelmingly successful, made the ballot, and a Supreme Court lawsuit later tossed us. And so, we've continued at this, but the process of going to the ballot, thankfully Nebraska has that, because I can tell you that there's no way that we would have legalized medical cannabis if we could not go to the ballot. And an important right that we have. And so it's pivoting to make sure there are two very clear oppositional forces in our state, coming from the governor and the attorney general. And you know, people say, okay, so 71% of people voted for this. What would you say to the 29% that didn't? And truly the message now is those 29% that maybe they don't like medical cannabis, maybe they don't understand it, maybe they hate it. At the end of the day, what is making them very angry is their taxpayer dollars are being used to fight this with frivolous lawsuits. They're walking themselves into litigation on the state side, the commission side. And so I think it's very accurate to say 100% of Nebraskans right now are very angry about this issue.
That's too bad. And that's when I hear that, it does bother me quite a bit, because we've made so many strides over the last decade. And needless to say, the government isn't even operational right now. So, nothing's going to happen as long as they're out of business, if you will. And in the meantime, you still got people looking for this as a medicinal product. You have people who are already suffering, whether it be chronic pain or cancer or epilepsy or MS or Crohn's disease, all the things that this plant was put on this earth to help people with. So it's very frustrating, but welcome to the fight, Crista. I know you've been doing it for a while now, and I appreciate you taking some time out today to join me.
Hey, thank you. It was my pleasure. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm a huge fan, and just appreciate what you do with your platform to educate people and to allow them to know what's going on. It's important. So thanks for what you do.
Thank you. And that's why my show on school.com is called Office Hours with Professor Jimmy. That would be me. And I appreciate it so much. And we'll have more of Cannabis Coast to Coast news after this.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Pro Cannabis Media is now WPCM TV, your go-to website for things cannabis. WPCM TV is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news you need.
Amy Carter. This week, she reports from inside the State House in Lansing.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters with this week's Michigan Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
And talk shows about all things cannabis.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all you're doing to get the word out. Like, this show is so important.
It all started back in 2018 when Emmy award-winning talk show host Jimmy Young kicked it off with the In the Weeds podcast.
That it's not just any generic paper towel. You do have a brand that you use, right?
Yeah, we live or die by the bounty. I mean,
the quicker picker-upper. I love that.
His mission? Building an army of multimedia journalists and podcast hosts who are documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition in this country and around the world. Fast forward to today, and we've got the nation's only weekly cannabis coast-to-coast news program with Elena Pinto.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast News, WPCM TV's weekly production of the fight to end cannabis prohibition in this country and around the world. I'm Elena Pinto.
Delivering the nation's only TV news-style program. Since June 2021, WPCM TV has racked up over 1.3 million views, with 17 million impressions, and picked up over 16,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. For more information, contact the team at WPCMTV.com.